Live Casino and Hotel Maryland. Glenn Clark, Paul Valley with you as we go through the week that is in sports betting. Of course, we're getting that much closer to the start of the NCAA tournament. Big UFC fight coming up this weekend. I think I might throw a couple bucks on that. I don't particularly like Colby Covington. Everybody seems to think he's going to win this fight, but we'll talk more about that during the course of the program. We start seeing some more prop bets coming up, like in the Fanduel Sportsbook right now. NFL MVP prop bets are available or futures bets for the 2022 season. Turned a couple of heads. I'll pull those up at some point during the course of the show. But all those things are things that we will get to during the course of the program. Conference tournament bets are now available. If you want to bet on Mount St. Mary's to win the Northeast Conference, you can do that. They're at 9-1 odds in order to win the NEC. They won the tournament a year ago. Maybe you're a fan, you want to stick a couple of bucks on it, you can. Navy sitting at 5-1 to win the Patriot League. You want to throw a few bucks on that, you could do it. Don't yet have odds out for the CAA tournament. I'm sure we'll get that during the course of the week. If those of you that are Towson fans want to throw a few bucks on that, I'm sure we are just days away from having odds for the CAA tournament. But we will cover all of these things throughout the course of Simply the Bets. Later on in the program, we will check in with FanDuel Sportsbook GM Bruce Bilek. He will join us in order to tell us more about the week that is in betting. In just a couple of seconds, our buddy Aaron Oster from VSiN will offer us his picks for the week, his 5 L's of betting. We do that every week here on Simply the Bets. I will tell you that it was a mixed bag for me over the course of the last week. Aaron's been a little bit hotter of late with some of the suggestions he's made, so I'm going to continue to ride his picks, I think, for a little bit, but it was a mixed bag for me this week in terms of betting. Obviously, a lot of people. What a rough day it was for all of the Arkansas bettors on Saturday, given the bad beat of the year with that 3 banked in at the buzzer by Kentucky in order to get the cover. Aaron Oster from VSiN joins us every week on Simply the Bets, which, again, we will be doing on Tuesdays now moving forward, and we'll be announcing some more betting programming for you that we will be adding to the schedule here in the coming days. But let's check in with our buddy from out in Vegas right now. Aaron, what's going on, pal? How are you?
I'm doing good, though. I think you jinxed me a little bit last week.
You were doing better. You were getting there.
I'm not even talking about my gambling. I'm talking about you dropped a line about whether or not I'd see daylight during conference tournament week.
Oh, and how's that going?
Well, here's the thing. So conference tournament week started, or a conference tournament week. All the conference tournaments started.
Yeah.
And my daughter got COVID, so I'm stuck in the house for a little
you're not going to be able to see. Oh, that's pretty funny. That's pretty funny. You're not funny at all. I hope your daughter's okay. I want to make that very clear.
Yeah.
I want to make that clear. Yeah. My kids just went through it a couple weeks ago. Magically, I managed to avoid it somehow, like a COVID ninja. But it sucks. There's not getting around that. It sucks. All right, we're going to make some picks. Aaron, remind me, what did you hit on last week that I was happy about? There was something that I was really happy about that you hit on last Wednesday.
Towson.
That's right.
Towson.
You, despite the fact that it was a big number, you were like,
Yep.
I got some confidence, and you had every right to be confident. Towson's been winning a lot of games by big numbers of late. May that continue for them as they get to the CAA tournament. But that
also,
was a good winner.
My long shot, Keith Mitchell, didn't end up winning, but if you played it top 10,
that's right.
That came through.
That's right. Aaron was actually texting me updates related to Keith Mitchell, which I appreciated. All right, let's begin. Let's stay on the local front. Give me a local bet that you got your eye on.
So this one actually isn't quite up yet at Maryland Live, but I assume it's going to be up later today or at worst tomorrow, and that's the CAA tournament, and I'm looking at Towson here. I think this is the year for Towson. Nelson's a great team. Obviously, we talked about them a lot last week, and the CAA tournament is up at several other books, so I can kind of estimate what it's going to be at Maryland Live. It looks like it's going to be around Towson plus 125. And that's a bet that I'm more than happy to make. I would take that bet up to even money. I think that Towson getting the 1 seed is absolutely huge for them. They'll avoid Oster to the finals, which is the one team that probably could come up the works a little bit. We know how good this team is. We know how good this team could be, not just in the conference tournament, but in the NCAA tournament if they make it there. And so, yeah, I like Towson at any sort of even money, but I'm estimating that when it opens at Maryland Live, it's going to be plus 125.
So again, as Aaron puts out, it's not up yet, but hopefully at the Fanduel Sportsbook at Live Casino and Hotel Maryland, you'll be able to get that money in the coming days. By the way, part of me just wants to bet it for the sake of having the ticket, and that's part of one of the fun things for fandom when it comes to sports betting, right? Is like when you get to double down and root for something for multiple reasons. It's why I'm so glad we're able to do it. So I almost certainly will end up putting a Towson winning the CAA tournament bet in myself in the coming days. Let's move on. Let's get to your long shot for the week. Give me your underdog that you most like.
You know, I'm really tempted to give out Maryland 110 to 1 to win the College World Series here as my long shot.
Wait, is that really up? Can you bet that? Really?
You can bet that.
Wait a second. I did not know that.
And if you
Holy
wanted
crap,
to,
you really can.
You absolutely can. And you know what? If you want to sprinkle some money on it, I'm not against it because I think this Maryland baseball team
They're
is
really
good.
The pitching is unbelievably legit in particular.
Absolutely.
I'm not ready. I'm not ready to do it, but I hear you.
No, but at 110 to 1, if you want to sprinkle a little money on it,
right? Why not? Exactly right. Why not? You put $10 down, you can make $1,000 out of it. Like, sure.
Exactly. So my official long shot bet is actually you mentioned the team during this little intro here, and I'm going to say Arkansas gets to the Final Four at 12 to 1. It's not quite as big as some of the long shots I've been giving out, but still over 10 to 1. And I think there's great value there. We've been seeing over this stretch just how good Arkansas really is. They kind of were overlooked early in the season after a little bit of a slow start, and the fact that, this year, more than any year in recent memory, it really feels like every good team has that big star, whether it's Johnny Davis in Wisconsin, obviously, Chet Holmgren in Gonzaga, Jabari Smith at Auburn. I can go down the list.
Mm-hmm.
But every team has a real star, and Arkansas didn't really have that star. But over the past few days or games, J.D. Notae's really kind of stepped up, if not into a star role, into a player that can really take control of the game. We saw it against Kentucky. We've seen it against Florida. We saw it all throughout this stretch that Arkansas is on. And when I'm looking for a long shot, a big thing I'm looking for is something where when 2 weeks from now, when the bracket is revealed, do I think that Arkansas is going to be 12 to 1 to make the Final Four?
Right.
I think as long as they aren't in Gonzaga's region, I think they will be better than 12 to 1. And probably much better than 12 to 1 to make the Final Four. I think they are a rock solid, almost second weekend lock. And once you get there, if they're matched up against a Duke, let's say they're a 3 seed, Duke's the 2 or something like that.
Yep.
I could absolutely easily see them make the Final Four. I think that when this comes out 2 weeks from now, they'll be 7 to 1, 6 to 1 to make the Final Four. So Arkansas 12 to 1. I think it's a really great bet right now.
So for those of you that missed it, we did our social media videos and you should be following Live Casino and Hotel Maryland on all socials because we're giving out some advice over there. You would have cashed in on the Super Bowl had you been paying attention because we killed it on our props. But the one that I threw out last week, and I get it, it's by no means a long shot. Of course, there's not a lot of money to be made, but at 4 to 1, I am actually hammering Villanova in the Final Four. I love Colin Gillespie, and it's the thing I always come back to is point guard play when you get to the NCAA tournament and playing close games and knowing that you trust the player with the ball in his hands. I'm also sprinkling a little bit at 24 to 1 on them to win the national championship. I don't think I actually believe that they're going to win the title. And there is a sort of weird thing about Jay Wright where he either wins the title or he doesn't make a deep run. It's just sort of the way that it goes. But I don't know. It's Gillespie. It's trusting the player who's the ball is in his hands late in games. And for that reason, Villanova is the team that I am riding with right now.
Makes sense. I'm kind of on the not side when it comes to Villanova. So I kind of put, as you said, you're either all in on Villanova or you're all out. That's the way it tends to go. So I'm leaning towards the all out. There's just something a little bit missing about the team. I totally understand why. Colin Gillespie is awesome. Again, another player who, when you're talking about the top players, you have to find that star player. Colin Gillespie absolutely qualifies as a. But
it's more, and to me, it's more specifically about the decision making. It's way more specifically about someone who I know is going to make good decisions and someone who I trust with the ball in their hands. And I get it. Like you point out in the non-conference portion of the schedule, they got pounded by Baylor, and They came up short against Purdue. They did beat Tennessee, if I remember correctly. But like, it's not like they were overwhelming during the non-quad. They lost an overtime game against UCLA. But man, boy, every time I get having a star player and a guy that can score a bunch of points, right? But more than anything, I get the guy that's going to do the right thing with the ball. Like that when you are in crunch time, you're going to make the decision that you need to make in order to win a game. That's the thing that jumps out to me most. All right,
and Villanova is that stereotypical team for sure.
Yep, no doubt about it. All right, let's move on. Your long-term bet for the week. Give me your futures bet that you're staring at.
Right now, and this will seem obvious to some people, but and it's a very long-term hold here. But after all the news that came out this week, I'm staring at the Packers to win the Super Bowl at 13-1. The second, and I think this is leaning this way, and I believe it. So this is basically the bet I'm making is Aaron Rodgers is going to stay, and based on everything this week, I think that's the case. And the second he signs, or the second that Schefter announces it, or whatever it is, that line drops to 8-1 instantly.
Yeah, I hear you.
Like, it's not going to be 13-1. If you're even thinking about the Packers, you need to make the bet right now. So that's kind of my long-term play right now, just saying, look, 13-1 is value. I think they entered the season plus 850 last year. I think that'll be right the same. They franchise tagged Devontae Adams. They're running it back. They're the 1 seed in the NFC. I will gladly take it at 13-1.
Yeah, I still don't think it's as good as 13-1 on the 49ers with Tom Brady as quarterback next season. I still like that. I still like that bet better. I'm still riding with that one. That was where I threw my cash when I got the opportunity because I am just absolutely salivating over that ending up being the story. But I get it. I completely get it. I guess, as somebody would bring up, hey, they've had Aaron Rodgers the last couple of years, and they haven't won the Super Bowl in those seasons either, for their record. But I hear you. You're trying to get value, and that's the reason why it's a play. Aaron Oster is with us from VSiN out in Las Vegas. Let's move on. Give me a bet that is a loser.
This is going to seem a little bit obvious at this point, but, the bet's still out there. I still see people making it. I still see people talking about it. Don't bet the Nets to win the Eastern Conference at plus 290. Just don't do it. It's a loser. The Nets, with or without all this Kyrie nonsense, whether he's going to play, whether he's not going to play, they're not good. It's not worth 290. I'm not sure it's worth 490. They're not one of the best 3 or 4 teams in the Eastern Conference. I don't believe they're going to win it.
You say that. Hang on. You say that, but man, you trying to tell me that you know who the best teams in the Eastern Conference are? I can't give you that, man.
Well,
who the F knows?
You know what? Here's the thing. I have no idea who the best team in the Eastern Conference is, but I'm pretty confident it's not the Nets.
Right, and so if the argument is I'd rather bet the Sixers at plus 350 than the Nets at plus 290, I'm abundantly in agreement on that.
Well, that's the biggest part of it. But at this point, I'm also a little bit writing off the Nets. And yeah. I get it. I shouldn't. That's dangerous.
Right.
Because they could wake up at any point.
Yes, they still have Kevin Durant. I'm not sure if you're familiar.
I've heard of that guy before.
Yeah,
he's pretty decent.
He's okay at the basketball.
But, but it's mainly about the odds, but I'm also getting very close to just writing them off altogether. So, yeah, at this point in the season, don't put your money on plus 290. Just don't do it.
Where are Ja Morant's MVP odds right now, by the way?
They were hovering around 11-1. I'd have to pull up to see exactly what it is right now.
After last night, it said 13-1. After last night, I might toss a buck or two over there. Like
just that one play.
well, it wasn't just the one play. Obviously, there were really 3, but the 2 that stand out. The dunk was ungodly. The dunk is one of the most absurd things I've seen. And then obviously, somehow a lot of people are talking about what happened at halftime, and we're still not talking about it enough. It's the most amazing play I've ever seen in the history of basketball. 0.4 seconds is the number. You don't get to hold on to that ball for even another 1/10 of a second and get that shot off. That's the most absurd thing we've ever seen. And in a weird way, because MVP, in this year, in particular, it can be so subjective, like just having a couple of plays that happen to stand out And
Sure.
with the Suns seemingly coming back to earth a little bit in the West because they don't have Chris Paul, and maybe mudding up the West a bit, and so what the Warriors did, yakking up a huge lead the other day. I don't know. I just have this funny feeling that like the national conversation could start shifting more towards how truly absurd it is what Ja Morant is doing.
I don't disagree with that at all. I think that's a very decent bet to make. Joel Embiid at plus 110 on his MVP number.
I just
and
don't
we talked
get
about
it.
this a few weeks ago.
I don't
when,
get that.
When I brought up DeMar DeRozan. Yeah.
How is anyone at plus 110 to win MVP right now? Like
It seems like if you told me any of the top 6 players right now in the odds, that's Embiid, Jokic, Giannis, DeRozan, Morant, or Curry, won the MVP, it wouldn't shock me.
If the Suns had won their first 3 games, I might have tried to toss a couple of bucks on Booker, right? Like if they had come out in the first 3 games without Chris Paul and they had won all of them, he had played well, I might have been inclined to say like, okay, the old your sprinkle term. I'll sprinkle a couple of bucks that way, but having lost 2, I'm going to avoid that one as well. All right, and give me the bet that you love. What's the one that you look at the board and you say, this, go right now, walk to Hanover, Maryland if necessary, get inside the Fanduel Sportsbook at Live Casino and Hotel, and put money down on this?
So I don't get to say this very often. There's a wrong line at the Fanduel Sportsbook.
Ooh, well, yeah, according to you.
According to me, this is a conference tournament play. It's the Missouri Valley Conference Tournament. Missouri State is plus 490 right now. Missouri State is the 2 seed and considered to be the second best team in the conference, behind Loyola Chicago, who, by the way, is the 4th
seed. Yeah,
seed.
that's correct.
Yeah, this is important for a number of reasons. So Loyola Chicago has to play Bradley in the quarterfinals, who's actually a very good team, and then has to face the 1 seed Northern Iowa in the semifinals just to get to the finals to play Missouri State. I think Missouri State is, first of all, they have the best offense in the conference. They have one of the better offenses in the entire country. I think this line should be better, closer to plus 250, plus 225.
Wow.
They have a relatively easy road to get to the finals. And if they face Loyola Chicago, they will be an underdog, but they will be a plus 190 underdog, a plus 200 underdog. Plus 490 feels really, really off. And yeah, run to the casino to place this bet, because I feel like that is going to go down quickly.
All right, plus 490 on Missouri State to win Arch Madness this weekend in St. Louis in the Missouri Valley Conference Tournament. We will tweet out all 5 of Aaron's L's. If you happen to miss one of them, you'll be able to find them at Glenn Clark Radio on Twitter. Aaron, give me the rundown for VSiN. What do people need to know?
Of course, check out VSiN. You can check it out. We have it on Masson programming locally. If you have the Xfinity app, you can check it out on the voice app. Just say VSiN. And we're running a March Madness promo right now. You can get everything, all access pass to VSiN for just $19, and it takes you all the way through the national championship game.
All right, go do that right now. At the Oster on Twitter is how you follow him. Aaron, appreciate it, pal. We will talk to you again next Tuesday.
Talk to you next Tuesday. Hope your bets come through.
There he is, Aaron Oster from VSiN, checking in with us here on Simply the Bets. I'm willing to bet. I'm willing to give him the benefit of the doubt on that Missouri State thing. I might be headed down this weekend to put a couple of bucks down and do just that. You should be on your way down to the Fanduel Sportsbook at Live Casino and Hotel Maryland, because you can still win your share of $10,000 cash just by signing up for Live Rewards. New Live Rewards members can also earn up to $20 in free play. I need to get in the cash machine. It is the most important thing that is going to happen to me in all of calendar 2022 is if I step foot in the cash machine at Live Casino and Hotel Maryland. Got to sign up by March 31st. Cash drawings April 1st. That's all on the way. And don't forget, there's always something wonderful going on. One of the things I love about Live Casino and Hotel Maryland, it really doesn't matter what day of the week it is. There is always something happening. They got special offers for their 55 Live members every Tuesday and Thursday. That's their exclusive promotion for the 55-plus-year-old Live Rewards members. Earn up to $30 free slot play or direct bet every Tuesday. That's an awesome thing for those of you that maybe have a little bit more time. Perhaps you're in your retirement age and you can go hang out and try to win some money in the Fanduel Sportsbook at Live Casino and Hotel Maryland. When we come back in, I want to go over those NFL MVP odds that are now up in the Fanduel Sportsbook, and we're going to talk to Bruce Bilek, the general manager of the Fanduel Sportsbook at Live Casino and Hotel. That's all on the way. Simply the Bets.
That first sip. That first bite. Start your day off right with a delicious breakfast at Royal Farms. Choose from a fantastic selection of fresh Royal Farms breakfast sandwiches and top it off with a rich hot cup of the freshest coffee in the world. At Royal Farms, breakfast is available day and night. It's the freshest breakfast in the world. Real fresh, real fast. Royal Farms.
Sports betting has come to Maryland, and we're ready to help you win some money. Tune in for Simply the Bets with Glenn Clark and Paul Valley every Tuesday morning at 11:40. Fanduel Sportsbook GM Bruce Bilek and VSiN's Aaron Oster join the guys every week to give you all the info you need and even a few winners. So come win some money with us on Simply the Bets every Wednesday at 11:40 a.m. Brought to you by the Fanduel Sportsbook at Live Casino and Hotel Maryland. Listen at PressBoxOnline.com/radio. Watch at YouTube.com/PressBoxOnline.
Glory Days Grill's winter seasonal menu is back with comfort classics like their house-made meatloaf and short rib grilled cheese. It also features the center-cut sirloin with grilled shrimp, the char-grilled pork tenderloin, grilled meatloaf sandwich, smoky thigh wings with Alabama barbecue sauce, and a Brussels and bacon appetizer. All of these items pair well with Devil's Backbone 8-point IPA or their anniversary IPA brewed by Devil's Backbone. And try their seasonal cocktails, Blood Orange Bourbon Cider, Apple Ginger Mule, and Captain's Hot Cider. Find out more and get your order in today at glorydaysgrill.com. Great food, good sports.
It's another cold winter here in Baltimore, but this time there's no hot stove to warm you up. Hi, I'm Paul Valley, and while there may be no activity in the world of baseball, I'll still be here every week with my co-host Zach Goodman to give you all the latest in the CBA negotiations as teams look to get back on the field in time for spring training. You can watch us live every Saturday from 10 a.m. to noon at youtube.com/PressBoxOnline or facebook.com/PressBoxSports and listen at PressBoxOnline.com/radio. So tune in every Saturday from 10 a.m. to noon for the latest in baseball coverage right here on the Bat Around.
We can't imagine why you'd want to, but you can watch GCR live. It's at facebook.com/PressBoxSports and try to guess whether these guys are wearing any pants.
All right, back in here on Simply the Bets, which we have moved to Tuesdays beginning this week, and we'll be making an announcement soon about some more betting programming that we'll be doing for you here in the coming days. Quickly, let's go through in the Fanduel Sportsbook at Live Casino and Hotel Maryland. They now have 2022 NFL MVP odds up for you. If you want to bet, you've been able to bet, as Aaron brought up, the Super Bowl odds for next year. You've been able to bet conference winners. You can even bet division winners for what it's worth. The favorite in the AFC North for 2022 would be none other than the Baltimore Ravens, sitting at plus 185. The Bengals are at plus 200. So the Ravens actually the individual favorites over the reigning AFC champions in the AFC North in 2022, which is a level of respect, frankly, I'm not sure they deserve, if I'm being honest with you. But they're being given that in the Fanduel Sportsbook at Live Casino and Hotel. The NFL MVP odds for 2022. Your favorite, 6-1. It's actually co-favorites, Patrick Mahomes and Josh Allen. At 8-1, Aaron Rodgers. 9-1, Justin Herbert. Matt Stafford at 10-1, Dak Prescott, because the Cowboys are always going to be bet to numbers like this. 11-1. You say you're wearing. Stop it. Cass says that she's wearing a Washington sweater today. Kyler Murray 12-1. Joe Burrow 12-1. Lamar Jackson, the 9th favorite, at 20-1. Russell Wilson rounds out the top 10 at 25-1. For NFL MVP futures, those odds, those bets now available in the Fanduel Sportsbook at Live Casino and Hotel Maryland. Speaking of which, the general manager of the Fanduel Sportsbook at Live Casino and Hotel is our friend Bruce Bilek, and he joins us each and every week here on Simply the Bets. Bruce, what's going on, sir? How are you?
Glenn, good morning. How you doing?
Everything is good, man. I can only imagine the excitement. We talked about this in the build-up to the Super Bowl. Now we got the excitement, the build-up to the NCAA tournament. I got to fathom that college basketball is kind of king around there for the foreseeable future.
It is king. We're officially in the conference tournament week. It's officially March, so customers in the sportsbook here are pretty excited to get this started.
I think right now we're starting to see. I'm nervous because I haven't seen odds for the CAA, and I'm sure there's a bunch of Towson fans that want to get there and put their bets down. I imagine that will probably be coming in the next 24 to 48 hours, right?
Yeah, those odds should be out pretty shortly. Towson will obviously be the perennial favorite to win that tournament. They're probably going to be right around plus 125 to win the tournament.
And that's not, it's not like there's huge value there, but for me it's more, I think this is one of the glorious things about finally having sports betting here in the state of Maryland, Bruce, is when you're a fan and you're going to be rooting for it anyway, the idea to sort of double dip and be able to root both for your team to win the tournament and make the NCAA tournament and be able to root for you to be able to cash in and make some money, I think it's a type of joy that it's almost indescribable.
It's awesome. I got a couple guys here that are actually Towson alum, and they're pretty fired up. They can't wait to see Towson on the main screen. They're trying to get it on there. So it's an exciting time of year for college basketball fans and people who've gone to some of these schools and getting in for the first time, or perennial getting in. They're pumped and excited about it.
No doubt. And right now, at the moment, there are a bunch of the conference tournament odds that are available for people to bet on. Correct?
That is correct. I was actually looking through them this morning. Got a nice little parlay put together that like to throw by you.
Okay, hang on. I need to get a pen. Hang on a second.
I was just scrolling through, looking at some of the ones I think are pretty solid to win their tournaments, and we do offer where you can parlay the conference tournaments together, the winners. So I'm looking at Duke minus 125 to win the ACC tournament. Loyola Chicago plus 130 to win the Missouri Valley.
Okay.
Bryant minus 105 to win the NEC Conference, and then Murray State minus 175 to win the Ohio Valley Conference. That's paying right around almost 12 to 1. So, again, you don't have to go with those, but you can. It's nice that the customers can come in and parlay those different conference tournaments, and a bet like that can last you the next week or two as these tournaments come to fruition.
Here's the problem with that, and I know why. Look, I get it. The ACC stinks this year. Duke is the best team by far, so I completely understand that. But you're asking people around here to want to hope good things for Duke basketball, and it's just I can't. In my blood, I could not do it. I don't care if it costs me money. I can't do it. I'm not capable of it. And by the way, our buddy Aaron Oster was just throwing out Missouri State in the Missouri Valley Conference as being somebody that might be a bit of a live dog there at plus 490. So that could be an interesting one to bet. All right, so that's what's going on. And will there be, Bruce, we're 12 days out now from Selection Sunday. Will there be props for Selection Sunday itself? Will there be more NCAA tournament-related props that we'll see over the course of the next week and a half?
Yeah, we'll find that out over here in the next week. They're still kind of putting the final touches on those. Obviously, that all comes down to regulations in the state.
Right.
So our teams are working on the back end of that to make sure everything we do offer is, on the up and up for regulation-wise. I
feel like we should talk about that. Bruce Bilek is the general manager of the Fanduel Sportsbook, because I'm sure this is going to be one that's going to be a struggle for people in the coming weeks as we're going to move towards May. Right now, you can't bet on horse racing, correct, in the state of at the sports books in Maryland. Is that true?
Currently live, we do not have it.
Okay.
Sports books do have race books in them currently.
Right.
So currently we do not have that at live.
Are there any other regulations? Like, this was one that caught me off guard. There was a prop that was available that we couldn't bet on during the Super Bowl. That was the Gatorade color. We weren't able to bet on that one. Are there any other broad ones that exist that are unique to Maryland?
No, I think the unique ones, like in the state of Virginia, you cannot wager on a college team in that state. Maryland does not have that regulation, so
you'll be able to bet on Towson to win the CAA in Maryland, whereas you couldn't do that for Virginia in Virginia.
Yeah, exactly. So any Virginia game you can, if you were betting online in the state of Virginia, you couldn't bet on Virginia or Virginia Tech or any of those games. So we're lucky here in the state of Maryland to have that availability.
This is the first, since you and I started doing this weekend is the first big UFC fight that we've seen in a little while, with Colby Covington taking on Jorge Masvidal at UFC 272. How significant is UFC betting for you guys, especially when you get big fights like this one?
It's a huge fight, and we've done a few of these. We had UFC 271 a few weeks ago, right before the Super Bowl. We had a huge turnout. The crowd was, energetic, awesome. You got Covington and Masvidal this weekend, which is going to be another huge draw. For some reason, people love coming into sports books to watch these fights, and it's a great place to sit with your friends, have some food, have some drinks, and enjoy the fights. It starts 8 o'clock and rolls through after midnight, so it's a nice time for some people to gather and watch these fights. They tend to be extremely entertaining.
I would encourage everybody, if you're thinking about coming out for the fight, email events@sportssocialmd.com, reserve a spot, because to Bruce's point, I mean, it could turn into an absolute, kind of packed scene on Saturday night. If you, your friends, want to make sure you have a guaranteed table, probably the best thing to do is make sure you go ahead and reserve that right now.
Yeah, that's a great shout, Glenn, and do that too as well. I know we're fielding a ton of requests for tables and chairs for the first 4 days of March Madness.
Oh yeah,
so definitely get those in sooner than later. It's filling up pretty quickly, so appreciate that there, Glenn.
Bruce, I have been thinking a lot about this. I think you and I talked about this last week. The thing where you just camp out for the day, where you literally show up at noon, you have multiple meals, and you drink all day and just watch basketball. The thing that everybody says, this is why you got to go to Vegas for the NCAA tournament. You don't have to do that any longer. You can do that right here in the Fanduel Sportsbook at Live Casino and Hotel Maryland. And if I didn't have to work, I almost certainly would be. I probably will end up spending a good bit of, I think we're lining up maybe that Friday. I think I might end up spending a good bit of the day there anyway, despite the fact that I have to work. There is nothing quite like it, is there?
It's awesome. It's what it's all about. We've got a group of guys that actually usually head out to Vegas, and they've changed it up. They've reached out in early January, and they want to come here and see if they can get that same experience, which, I told them we'll do everything in our power to make sure they have that same, if not a better experience. And we're excited about it. The place is going to be packed. The people are energetic. This is one of the, this is probably the first March Madness, I'd say, that we're really coming out of COVID. So I think people are just ready to get back to normal and have some fun.
Plus, we're ready to see Towson pull off a massive shocker, although hopefully not against Villanova, because I just put some money down on them, by the way. That was my if you caught it on Live Casino and Hotel's social media last week, that was my thought, is obviously hammer Villanova to the Final Four, but sprinkle a bit on Villanova at 24-1 to win the tournament. There's something about point guard play when you get to the NCAA tournament, and I know Jay Wright is very hit or miss. He's either winning the national championship or getting knocked out in the first weekend. It's just sort of the way that it goes for him over the years. But give me Colin Gillespie in big game, late situations, making good decisions. I don't know how you feel about it, but I am riding with Villanova as where my money is gone for the NCAA tournament.
Guard play is so huge in the tournament. You've got a few games to get there, and I think it's one thing that a lot of people overlook is guard play. And obviously coaching, Jay Wright, I'm never going to be afraid to back my money with Jay Wright coaching. So I like where you're at, Glenn.
There we go. I like that. All right. What else? What else are people thinking about? What else jumps out at you? Maybe some numbers, some odds that you saw, some promos, whatever it is. What else is going on in your world?
Yeah, the NBA's back, and that's huge. I mean, it's nice they had a little break there for All-Star Weekend. We've definitely had some people coming in betting on the NBA regular season MVP. Been a lot of action around that. We currently got Embiid at plus 110. Jokic is getting some action at plus 310, and then one we've seen recently is Ja Morant.
That's the one. We were just talking about this, Bruce. I'm not kidding. Like 20 minutes ago, we were having a conversation about this.
He's had some huge games. I'm sure you guys saw the
dude. Last night was insane. I mean, that was defining.
Last night.
I genuinely believe, and this is not. There's no way to gauge this, right? Like I can't come up with a statistic that proves it. But in determining MVP, having moments that stand out significantly in voters' minds, who is going to forget what he did between the dunk and the shot at the half last night? Like they are, to me, that's the most memorable thing that has occurred this NBA season. And
it's huge, and it's kind of an objective award. I don't want to say it's an objective, but like you said, those thoughts stay in people's minds, and it's really hard to get out of your mind what that guy did just last night, and he does it seems to be night after night. So 13-1. That might be not a bad shot there.
I think I'm making a trip down this weekend and putting a few bucks on Ja Morant for NBA MVP after what he did last night. Anything else we need? I think people point out this weekend is Man U, Man City. I guess we should remind people the kiosks are open 24 hours a day, 51 self-service kiosks, no matter what time the event is that you want to watch. And I actually think Man U, Man City might be closer to noon anyway, so you might have been safe. But big soccer matches, even if it's the 7 a.m. match on a Saturday, you can get down and bet it in the Fanduel Sportsbook.
Yep. Last thing I want to talk about, Glenn, how about did you take a look at the Nadal-Medvedev match this past weekend?
I did indeed. Of course, for those that don't know, Nadal ended up, what a run, ended up beating Cam Norrie for the title. What was that, Acapulco? I think, and by the way, Daniil Medvedev also took over the number one spot, right, in the rankings.
Yep.
And what an awful time for him to have to, I feel awful for him, man. Certainly, he doesn't deserve to have to deal with what he's doing as a Russian player. To this be the moment that he should be celebrated and, enjoying being the number one player in the world. But Jesus, man, just wretched. That being said, the Nadal thing, this is unreal, right? That this is happening right now. This is really unreal that he is having this moment, going to the French, where whether Djokovic is there or not, he's going to be the overwhelming favorite. This is an unreal scenario for Rafael Nadal to perhaps reassert himself, as it had been kind of assumed that Djokovic was going to take the GOAT title. He legitimately could be rewriting history with what he's doing right now.
Yeah, it's amazing. He's playing some amazing tennis. When I watched that match, it was Medvedev was obviously favored, but Nadal he's in unbelievable form right now. If he can carry that into the French Open, he's obviously the overwhelming favorite. He's plus 110 right now, and obviously the next closest is Djokovic at plus 250. But he's playing some amazing tennis.
It's awesome to see. It's truly awesome to see what he's doing. All right, Bruce Bilek, appreciate you, my friend. Let's chat again next Tuesday, and we will be within days of Selection Sunday at that point. A very exciting time in the Fanduel Sportsbook. Appreciate it as always. We'll talk to you next week, all right?
Thanks, Glenn. Take care.
Is Bruce Bilek, the general manager of the Fanduel Sportsbook at Live Casino and Hotel. Yeah, that Ja Morant, I probably shouldn't have given it away because it was probably going to pop up in my our social media videos that we do for Live Casino and Hotel this week, but I'm giving it away. I am putting money on Ja Morant as NBA MVP. That is getting some dollars from your boy during the course of the week. And we'll have a couple other things we'll throw in there for Live Casino and Hotel this week, but Ja Morant definitely leads the list as NBA MVP. All right, Paul Valley, you got a tidbit for us today?
I do have a tidbit. One, the Orioles are plus 20,000 to win the World Series and plus 13,000 to win the AL pennant.
You're saying that perhaps if the Baltimore Orioles were to sign Carlos Correa, those numbers would not be quite so drastic.
Maybe not. Maybe not.
I still don't know that I like their chances, but I hear you. If you're trying to steal some value, perhaps you could steal some value in some way. That's still a tough sell for me.
I was trying to find the odds that the Orioles are the team to sign Carlos Correa, but I couldn't find that
Unfortunately,
quickly.
not available in the FanDuel Sportsbook.
So our tidbit today. Yesterday, Jeremy was on talking about how the Pelicans.
The Orioles are also plus 15,000 to win the AL East.
Oh, wow.
So,
okay. You could make some money. Put $300 down. You could get.
Oh, my God. I can't even do that math off the top of my head. Hang on a second.
Put $100 down on each one of those, and you.
Well, I still think the other two are a stretch. I still am not willing. But let's just say you put $100 down on at 150 to 1. You're making $15,000. Did I do that math correctly?
Yeah.
I mean,
not a bad day's
you
work.
put $10 down, you can make $1,500.
Not a bad day's work.
I mean, I've definitely spent $10 in many worse ways.
I spend $10 at Wawa every day.
We go to Royal Farms here. That's where we go.
I'm
we
sorry.
like
I
Royal
meant Royal
Farms.
There's a Royal Farms right across from my house.
We gotta work on this. We gotta work on this.
My apologies.
Let's go ahead.
All right. So yesterday, Jeremy was on talking about how the Pelicans were only 2.5-point favorites against the Lakers, despite how awful the Lakers are when they played on Sunday. Well, he was right. The Pelicans won by 28 on Sunday.
In fairness, he had the hindsight. He knew that when he said it.
Yeah. But the crazy part, somebody placed a $1,255 wager on FanDuel Sportsbook on the Pelicans minus 20.5 at plus 1,100. Nice little payout of 15,000.
They were minus 20.5.
They were. There was a minus 20. If
An alternate.
Yeah.
An alternate line.
If the Pelicans won by 21, that was at plus 1,100.
Hang on a second. We're doing this math wrong. If they were minus 20.5, then they were 20.5 point dogs. If
they were minus 20.5,
no, if
they were favored to win. Minus 20.5 would mean favored to win by 21.
No. That's the math is wrong on that. If you're plus 20.5, then you can lose by 20, and you still cover. If you're minus 20.5, you got to win by 21 points.
That's what I'm saying.
Oh, okay. Say it one more time, then maybe it might be on me. Maybe
somebody
it's on me.
placed a $1,255 wager on FanDuel Fanduel
Right.
Sportsbook on the Pelicans minus 20.5.
I don't understand how they got that line.
At
That's
plus
an insane
1,100.
line. Okay, all right. Then that's on me. I wasn't paying attention. That's fine.
And
I apologize.
Gave him a nice little payout of $15,060 on.
Yeah. That's true. Wait, what was the number?
What they bet?
What did they bet?
They bet $1,255
on
the Pelicans
minus 20.5.
Mm-hmm.
That's one of the most reckless bets I've ever heard of in my life. I mean, look, alternate lines are available, right? And that's one of the things you can do if you go down to the FanDuel Sportsbook. You can get alternate lines, right? Like, they are available to you at extraordinary odds. 20.5 is insane. Like, that's an insane number. I think I just assumed they were going the other way because the Lakers were presumed favorites in the game, so why wouldn't you buy yourself more points for the Pelicans to stay within in order to try to win? To get them at, I mean, my God, that's extraordinary. That's an extraordinary number.
Rumor has it was Keanu Reeves in Hardball.
I mean, yeah, sure. It's been a long time since I've thought about Keanu Reeves and Hardball, by the way. That is an unbelievable number. Well, good for whoever that was. That was quite the payoff right there. All right, very good. That'll do it for us for Simply the Bets. Thanks to Aaron Oster. Thanks to Bruce Bilek. Again, Simply the Bets will be on Tuesday mornings at 11:40 moving forward. And in the coming days, we will be announcing more betting-related programming for you that we will be doing as part of PressBox's betting content in partnership with the FanDuel Sportsbook at Live Casino and Hotel Maryland. So we will see you tomorrow morning for Glenn Clark Radio. May the odds be ever in your favor.